New York Times claims that a lot of Republicans are worried about how you-know-who's handling of this crisis has threatened their security come election time. Megan, is this a legitimate concern, or is it wishful thinking? What's your take?
Yeah, that article was written by Maggie Haberman and John Martin. We all know Maggie Haberman. She's a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, so I do trust her reporting. Look, I think there's a concern because the ace in the back pocket for Republicans was always the economy. It was like no matter how bad things got with Trump's rhetoric and all of the sort of divisiveness that he has injected into the country, it's like that old adage is the economy's stupid. And now we're seeing 26 million people just since the reports last Friday have filed for unemployment. To put it in perspective, in the Great Depression, it was 30 million people under unemployment. So we are fast and furiously reaching to the point where we're going to enter into a second Great Depression, and I don't really believe that it's fixable by November. So yes, of course, Republicans should be nervous and concerned right now. Trump is Teflon. He seems to be able to weather storms unlike any other human on the planet, so I never put anything out. But I do think if history is any indicator, the only time incumbent presidencies are ousted is when there is an economic recession or a war going on, which we are very well entering into the middle of one right now.
Right. Joy, is this a breaking point, you think, for Senate Republicans?
Oh yeah, I think they're in trouble, and I don't think this is wishful thinking at this point. Only 36% trust Trump on the virus. 36% of Americans. What's amazing is that his numbers are not in the teens at this point. I mean, what proof do people need that he can't handle the crisis or even speak logically or rationally on television? What more do they need to see? And, by the way, all these wacko remarks that are coming out of his mouth are on tape. And don't think that that Joe Biden is not clocking them, even if he is in his basement. He's clocking this. And the Democratic Party is putting all this tape together to use against him over and over again so that we can all get these people out, Right. It's really almost like a gift to the Democrats instead of a gift to his base. Is what he's doing right now, which is why they keep telling him, don't keep doing those pressers. But he can't stop. He can't stop. All he does is he craves this adoration from people, so he won't stop.
Right. So, Sonny, you think the Republican counterpunch will be to shift the blame?
Well, yes, that's right out of the playbook, right? And I understand that over the weekend, this sort of 57-page memo drafted by a GOP strategist came out and was distributed by the National Republican Senatorial Committee. And there were these sort of, points that needed to be made. One was don't defend Trump other than the China travel ban, which we know wasn't effective. Attack China. Keep on attacking China. Also part of it was, don't if that is called racist, make sure that you explain that you're not attacking Chinese Americans. You're just attacking China and the World Health Organization. Right. And so it's going to be that distortion, that blame game, which is right out of the Republican playbook. But I think really at this point the chickens have come home to roost. If this is supposed to be the party of family values, well, American families are dying. There are over 50,000 Americans dead because of the inept response from the Republican president, from President Trump. And you have, as Megan mentioned, all of these Americans, 26 million Americans have filed for unemployment benefits. Is this, what the Republicans want as a party? Why do they still stand behind this president? They are, again, complicit for covering up these actions, for having a playbook that just places blame and doesn't place the blame squarely on the shoulders of their president.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I remember when the AIDS epidemic first hit, they used to call it the gay disease. And then people had to really work on them to recognize that you didn't have to be gay to get this disease. And finally, folks stopped doing that. Maybe they can put that in their minds too. This disease doesn't care what your nationality is. It really doesn't.